Hello, my name is Ramalaxmi. I am a student at the Indian Institute of Management, Tiruchirappalli. And as a part of my course of Indian Economy and Policy, I present this video on the topic The Global Economic Crisis and its Impact on the Indian Economy. Globalization has ensured that the Indian economy and financial markets cannot stay insulated from the present financial crisis in the developed economies. The debate, therefore, can only be on the extent of the impact and how resilient India is to withstand the storm with minimal damage. In the light of the fact that Indian economy is linked to the global markets through a full float in current account, that is through trade and services, and a partial float in capital account through debt and equity, we need to analyze the impact based on three critical factors. These include the availability of global liquidity, the demand for Indian investment, and the decreased consumer demand affecting the Indian exports. The concerted intervention by central banks of developed countries in injecting liquidity is expected to reduce the unwinding of Indian investments held by foreign entities, but fresh investment flows are still in doubt. The impact of this will be threefold. The element of GDP growth driven by offshore flows, that is, along with the skills and technology, will be diluted. The correction in the asset prices, which were inherited or pushed by foreign investors, and the demand for domestic liquidity putting pressure on the interest rates. It took some time for policymakers and analysts in India to recognize both the speed and intensity of effects of the global crisis on India. Indeed, there were arguments that along with China, India is decoupled from the global system and capable of becoming autonomous growth based on the recent high growth from per capita low income base and a young population to be immune to shocks from the international financial system. However, it turns out that this presumption was wrong and even involved a faulty assessment to the previous boom. Recent high economic growth in India was fundamentally dependent upon the greater global integration and related to the deregulation of finance combined with the fiscal concessions that spurred a consumption boom among the top two deciles of the population, especially in the urban areas, even as deflationary fiscal policies, poor employment generation, and agrarian crisis kept mass consumption demand low. The substantial rise in profit shares in the economy and the proliferation of financial activities combined with rising asset values to enable a credit finance consumption flour among the rich and the middle class, which in turn generated high rates of investment and the output over this upswing. This was therefore quite similar to the speculative bubble expansion in several other countries in the same period. By the middle of 2008, even before the global crisis really hit India, this process too was reaching its limits. The crisis made matters much worse by causing sharp decline in exports of manufactures and reversals of capital flow such that the both current and capital accounts of balance of payment had worsened. The macro issues have been much commented upon, but the specific impact upon certain groups has become much lightly noted. The crisis has been accompanied by changes in employment and relative prices that adversely impacted, especially upon the three sections of the population that were already very vulnerable. These included the cultivators, the migrant workers, and the home-based women workers. In addition, it has sharply affected food security, which is already a problem in the country. In concluding words, we can say that India cannot escape unscathed from the present crisis because its economy has become integrated with the rest of the world over the past 2 decades. In order to overcome the global crisis, monetary and fiscal stimulus packages are essential. More transparency is required in the process of setting bank repo rate, reverse repo rate, CRR, SLR, etc. The RBI must lower the policy rates further to bring down the cost of funds and boost the growth momentum. The link between monetary policy and financial stability need to be understood, and more autonomy to the central bank should be given to maintain the enviable reputation earned by the RBI. Monetary and fiscal policy both should be coordinated for better performance of the Indian economy. India has huge domestic demand which need to be tapped. There should be quick and consistent policy making which can transmit positive signal to the private sector for boosting the investment levels in the economy. Black money should be brought back and corruption should be controlled. Ethical and moral standards should be enhanced. To speed up with the pursuit of economic development and to attract foreign direct investment into the Indian economy, there is an urgent need to ensure that the production of investors still lies in money through maintaining the proper law and order. For a country like India, there is a rationale to protect the rural economy from adverse effects of global crisis by protecting agriculture, local business and service with protected growth rate would be maintained. The protection of rural economy increases the purchasing power of 70% of the population, which provides sound base to the Indian economy. Entrepreneurship development in both rural as well as urban areas should be focused. The amount of budget deficit should be increased to the field of infrastructure via national highways, airport, electricity sector to boost the overall performance of the Indian economy. This would help the Indian economy to perform better in the coming future and enhance its performance in a great way. Thank you.